What you have just saw there is the damage showcase against Uber Sirus with the new Storm Call skill. I've noticed that there's already a build guide for the new Storm Call, which is also great, but my version focused more on the endgame with much more investment into the damage and defense. His version used a new Soul Eater ring as a core item. If you're interested in that, make sure to check out his video in the description below. So back to the build, the core idea of this build is just simply pushing the AoE to its limit. Our weapon spell cascade turn Storm Call into 5 smaller ones, which can overlap with each other as long as you have the AoE increase for it. It can overlap in the middle of the screen, allowing you to deal 5 times more single target damage. Most of my setup are pretty much self-explanatory. I'll focus more on the things that you should be looking out for. Aside from my Awaken spell cascade support, I also used a less duration to reduce the delay of damage of your spell. And also I have used a spell echo support to vastly increase my cast speed. But one thing to remind that is that do not use a Awaken version of the spell echo, because first of all, the Awaken spell echo version is so fucking expensive, and second of all, the double damage come from the Awaken version does not benefit your skill because you are dealing damage over time. Damage over time is not a hit, only hit will benefit from the double damage. Starting with the Storm Call itself, you can see here that your level is related to the area of effect, the base radius of the skill. You basically want to reach level 30 because before level 30, every 3 level increase, it provided you with a 0.1 increase in the base radius, which is good for your build because the base radius multiple with all the other AoE increase in your build. But up until you reach level 30, you will have to get a +6 to get another 0.1 increase in the base radius, which is ridiculous and simply not worth it to do. In order to reach level 30, you can basically use 2 cold iron point dagger to add a +6 to your skill, and add a +3 with your replica dragon things, and also you will have to get a level 21 Storm Call of Trarthus. But in my situations, in my setup, I actually ditched one of the cold iron point for a Dawnbreaker for much better defense. For the remaining +3 that I'm missing, I got it from my chest piece. But to be frank, this corruption is quite expensive. If you are not doing Uber content, you does not need to get a Dawnbreaker. You can just use a cold iron point and just play all the non-Uber content. I got all my AoE increase from my gear and my passive skill tree. For my gear, I used a Harvest Crafting that can turn your quality for your weapon into area of effects. I choose a 28% Exmo dagger, and also my helmet provided me a lot AoE against like unit enemy. Basically, you only need that much AoE when you are fighting a unit boss or a Pinnacle boss. And also, I got a ring that plus a Warlock ring that plus 15 to your area of effects. The most important things is the area effect and the life. The rest are just the cherry on the top. I used the Carcass Jack. The area of effects it provided is very important to my build. There's some other choice for damage, but to be frank, they are not that important compared to the area effect, because the area effect could provide you with 5 times more single target damage. And then also my boots also increase the effect of my flame golems. The flame golems also provided me with like AoE effects. All the influenced items I used in my build are for the sake of using a new unique jewel bound by destiny. I will explain a bit more later on when I'm talking about my passive skill tree. You can ignore it for now, and all the other gear is basically rest, attribute, spell suppressions, life recovery, life regenerations. Also, if you choose to go on my path and use the Dawnbreaker, you can choose one with a +1 level of Socketed Gems. It allows you to use a level 5 enhanced support on your Withering Step and your Despair. For the Despair, the quality of the gem provide it with curse effects, and for Wither, you can stack 12 Wither with 1 button with the enhanced support. One last thing about my gear is that you should better use a 10% reduced attribute requirement Dragon Things, because in my setup, it's kind of a personal reference. I use tons of tattoos. Basically, I only maintain my attribute to the minimum, and then I will turn all those excessive attribute into a tattoo. In my passive skill tree, I used quite a few of this poison on hit tattoo so that I can spec into more damage instead of poison chance with this chaos rain. And also this one is the same. I don't want to spec into this one, so I push out my poison chance with this tattoo. Some other tattoo I used is this chaos damage tattoo, and also a stun avoidance tattoo. I used 7 of these, and also the remaining 30% I got it from the Abyssal Jewel so that I can reach 100% avoidance to stun. For the Ascendancy, I choose the Bring of Ruins for the hero effect, the Golems, the Ship of Storm for pure damage. Remember not to spec into this one because with Core Endpoint encrypted, it doesn't work. You cannot ignite enemy. The reason I choose the shield over Ship of Winter is that we are poison build. That means that our hit are quite limited. With a limited hit damage, the shield effect we apply is also quite limited. In this case, the shield would be a much better choice than the Ship of Winter. Now jumping to the jewel socket. This one I used, the Light of Meaning, is quite self-explanatory, more chaos damage. It provided me with over like 200% increase in pure chaos damage, which is quite good. And also it's stacked with your tattoo. Don't worry that it will cover up your tattoo, it won't, it will just add to it. The Brutal Restraint I used here provided me with faster poisoning, cast speed, and also just pure damage with it. One other thing is that it provided with a bit more dexterity so that I can use tattoo in my build. For the Watcher's Eye, you might look for things that like determination related. Purity of Fire. The Purity of Fire one is the most important one, to be frank, because we are using Purity of Fire and a Ruby Flask. With the help of this shield and the merc, the belt of the merc, which I will talk about later on, we can turn most of the other type of damage into fire damage, and then we will take less damage because we have a high maximum fire resistance. Remember all those influenced items from my gear? I used them in order to use this new Bound by Destiny unique jewel. This jewel comes with a lot of different mods, and most of them are defensive, and these defensive mods are quite good for most of the build. In the case that you are able to fit in all those influenced items in your gear. It's quite expensive, to be frank, because in order to craft this kind of special base gear, you have to use an Omen of Fortunes. You can see it from here, currency exchange, Omen. Those I used to it's now 11 divine for one. I crafted mine with like a 5 to 65 per one. So you can do it as you like, but it's quite a trace item to my build. The jewel itself is cheap, but the gear to come with it is quite difficult to make. One last thing to mention about my passive skill tree is I used this Woundcraft to add a +1 to all my support gem. What it does is that combined with my chest piece corruptions and also a level 6 spell cascade, it can reach up to level 10. With what a level 10 spell cascade does is that it provided me with 2% more AoE. You see, it's 23 here, but with a level 6 one, I got 25 less AoE here. The merc I used is a Whipper with Determinations and Fatality. The 2 aura is quite necessary for your defense. And I equipped him with these 2 blades to help me maintain my vigor on enemy. With Combs Blinding to convert enemy physical damage to fire. I also equipped him with this pair of gloves. It's quite expensive. The last time I checked is like 1 div or 2 div for merc items. What it does is that it basically disables some of the chaos damage I take from enemy, because every now and then it can, like, for some reason it's so ridiculous that it can like make enemy not doing any chaos damage. For the amulet I use I used the PINNACLE tools for lucky damage. I don't know if that's how we pronounce it, sorry. But what lucky does is that for the range of your damage, it will roll twice before hitting the enemy, and it would use the higher one result. For some reason, my poison damage got a quite big range from 13 to 19. The flask is quite minor, but also worth noticing is that you would want to get a maximum charge to your ruby flask. In this case, in my experience, it's basically permanent flask effect for this single flask, and you want a sulfide flask for the consecrated ground so that you can have some more life recovery from it and also reduce curse effect from it. Speaking of curse effect, you also want another 50% of reduced curse effect on your granite. The last flask I used it is for the chaos damage listed as life during effect. It will provide you with a bit more life recovery, and the physical damage as extra chaos damage is also great for your build. One other thing about my life pool is that I got 4,200 life with this jewel equipped, but for some reason POE Ninja doesn't recognize this jewel correctly. It registered my life as this number, but to be frank, I got actually quite a lot more life from it. One other stupid thing about this skill is actually the skill effect. It's actually a FPS killer when you are spam casting the skill. In order to tackle that, I would recommend you to enable this 2 dynamic thingy, because it will allow the screen to go blur on certain details in order to cap your FPS at 60. To be frank, it's not a lot, but still, if you are having fun with the game and you do want to play a PPD build, to play a PowerPoint build, you should definitely enable these 2 settings. That's pretty much it. I'm Victor, you can call me Vic. I forgot to introduce myself at the start of the video, but whatever. And also, I would put the rest of the fight with Uber Sirus at the end of the video so that you can see how tanky is it. Enjoy my build, and if you got any question, you can DM me in game, that's my character name, or just simply leave a comment below. I would gladly explain it to you. I'm sorry again for my pronunciation, but yeah, that's it. See you.
You will finally stir.
You are nothing.
A real talent will finally fall.
Your lives are meaningless.
Others found strength in rejection. They became reliant.
What beauty crumble. Rain of stars.
Interesting enough. Warwick
Your lives are meaningless. Fury of the cosmos. Obliteration.